The mention of Prince William, I thought of Prince William yesterday while watching the Bloomberg interview or the day before, because I thought, first of all, I don't feel like Meghan's been media trained because she says certain things that I automatically think, oh, another, slam at the British royal family. How awful are pantyhose? My God, your voice, you were silenced. And I just think, surely to God, you haven't been media trained because somebody would say those are going to lead to some really negative headlines. But I thought when I watched that interview, this is exactly why Prince William was concerned because she's out of control. I mean, why aren't you more considerate or why don't you consider the consequences more when you sit down and have an interview like that?
Well, because she doesn't. It's all about her, and she doesn't care what ripples she calls. She's not got any real affection now for the royal family, apart from the title and what that opens, gives her what in her eyes cachet. But it is sad that suddenly I never knew that tights or pantyhose or whatever they're called was ever going to be such a talking point, and we can give it a moment's thought. You have a dress code, as long as you're,
They
the
have a
royal
dress
women.
code at McDonald's. They have
Yeah.
a dress code at TGI Fridays. Everyone has a dress code. Why is she complaining about pantyhose?
Well, good question. I don't think this is necessarily in Duncan and I's
I think it
wheelhouse, the
is.
subjects. Duncan, we're not experts. I was, when this story came up, I thought, how am I going to be able to legitimately talk about the pantyhose question? And all I will say, it's just all part of Meghan's feeling that she was trapped in this environment. But Harry allowed it to happen. He was desperate to get married. He found a woman who actually fell for him hook, line, and sinker. His previous girlfriends, and Duncan, you probably know this, suddenly realized what they were taking on, and it wasn't going to be much fun because he's not the most straightforward individual. But Meghan was in there, hook, line, and absolutely sinkered. And Harry now he got what he wanted. Goes off to Botswana. They're having a great time on safari.
Clearly, something biblical happened in the tent. Otherwise, you're not falling in love on the third date. So,
Well,
congratulations to both of them.
well, well, did the Earth move? It obviously did. Then, but whatever happened in the Serengeti or wherever they were, great that they fell in love and may have been happy. But unfortunately, Harry hasn't got the wherewithal to control the beast that is Meghan in full flight.
Duncan, do you want to react to Rupert's comments about former girlfriends? You were there, you saw that.
Absolutely. Well, I'd love to disagree, but what Rupert's just said is honestly, it's so spot on
Is it
because
about pantyhose?
I'm
No,
not
no.
pantyhose line. Um, I'm talking about the ex-girlfriends and the girlfriends. I mean, he had a relationship with Chelsea Davy, who was a Zimbabwean living in South Africa. They liked their dream was watching the stars over the Okavango Delta. Then he was with Cressida Bonas, and she was this sort of bohemian, quite trendy, quite, it never worked out for Harry. And then he met Meghan, honestly, out of blue sky. It was, I mean, shotgun wedding means something different. I understand that, but this is as close as it could have come to a shotgun wedding. It's like I've met this wonderful woman, and let's look at it. I mean, Harry loves Africa. Harry loves being barefoot, just chilling. Well, now they've been married. You've not seen Meghan go to Botswana again. That's not happening. I want to go and meet the Obamas. I want to go and chat with Oprah Winfrey.
Let's go to the Beyonce concert.
Agenda.
Yeah,
Sorry?
Beyonce concert, Katy Perry concert.
No, they've occupied different worlds, and the mistake that Harry has made here is that every dream Meghan had has come true. To become famous, to become rich, to become somebody with a big house, and with Harry, his dreams have been to become anonymous, to chill out, and to stay out of, stay out of harm's way, stay out of the limelight. He doesn't care about money. He certainly doesn't care about celebrity friends. And so they've got this marriage, which is based on two completely different standards.
Goals. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but something's got to give, and I'd never comment on someone else's marriage, having had a failed one myself. But I do
Well, then
believe.
you'd be an expert, Duncan. I think that makes you an expert.
No, I do believe though that I've never ever, of all the people I can think of, when you think of your friends and stuff like that, I've never ever come across a couple that have such different agendas and wants and wishes that are still married. And I mean, I hope their marriage lasts, but wow, Meghan has had her way, and Harry is literally living the hell he tried to avoid.
Sometimes opposites do attract, and obviously, and this is, on paper, but he was found this lady who just fell for him hook, line. He was desperate, that sort of need to feel loved, which he didn't necessarily feel, because obviously with his mother dying young, and then whatever was going on with his father, it took a long time to get that relationship through a difficult teenage years and the royal family. So suddenly that's his problem. Okay, I'm sounding like I'm starting to enter the realms of Meghan's psychobabble here, so I better actually shut up pretty quickly here. But there is definitely an element that he was so keen to get loved and feel loved, and Meghan gave him that. And okay, it has now come at a cost that he doesn't actually have a relationship with his extended family, and that probably pains him. Now we now know he's coming over here as his annual visit at the beginning of September for the Well Child. They have every year, but will he have a chance even to have a face to face with any member of the royal family? Will he want it? Will they want it? This is the problem for him. He's coming to Britain, but he's sort of coming under, almost feels like, sufferance.
I don't suspect that the royal family will make an effort to meet with him after that BBC interview, where he, in like the same interview, not only does he say he wants a reconciliation, he accuses somebody, some mystery member of the royals is on the Ravik board and he says that they're after him. There's a big conspiracy against him. I mean, he flip-flops. The contradictions are incredible. So Duncan mentions Meghan making all of her dreams come true, which I totally agree with. And I've never seen the universe conspire, and by universe, I mean Ted Sarandos and Netflix, but I've never seen so many people conspire to try to make someone happen, to try to make them a success. And one of the things that has frustrated me along the way is how many hiccups her brands have had, whether it's As Ever, American Riviera Orchard, whatever. So Meghan restocks products to coincide with season 2's launch, which we thought she would, because they said they're trying to make her a home shopping network QVC personality. And when new episodes dropped on Netflix, some featured a QR code on the screen. And when scanned, it would take you directly to an online shop where Meghan's products were available to buy as ever. But there was a technical problem. It was generic T-shirts that were on the screen with the words example product title instead of the actual products. It just feels like one thing after another. Duncan, yes, she's making all of her dreams come true. How many times can her or her team screw up Spotify before she loses all of these opportunities, or will she always have them thanks to her proximity to the British royal family?
Well, you do wonder, don't you, whether Meghan, given what we know about her character, how she would have felt about that. I'm making this up, but I could imagine her walking in the offices with a baseball bat and starting smashing heads together. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but if it did, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, look, she's ambitious. And one thing you cannot say about members of the royal family that have married into it, be they women or men, none of them have been ambitious.